So first of all, I want to welcome you all because you're all here because it's a part of the extension of the Facebook group. So I'm loving everyone's feedback about the Facebook group, right, which is the Connect, Contribute and Collaborate group. And everyone's been giving me messages of how beneficial it's been once you've reached out and connected with other people and asked them that power question of who can I send your way that's an ideal client or a key source of collaboration. And man, it's been powerful to have so many people just doing, the creative, resourceful tactics of just building and growing as one. That's been super powerful. And obviously, as part of the group, these mastermind calls have formulated and giving you guys a lot of tactics, tools, and strategies, which is super, super powerful. So we have Adrian here, of course. The wait is over. Everyone's been very keen to get on this call and very keen to learn about what you have to say and your expertise, because Adrian's going to teach us about PR and the steps and tricks and tips, insider knowledge on how to get your business featured in major publications, in the media, all those different things. And I know if you've been in business for a while, you understand one of the key components is building that level of authority, building that level of credibility. So you have that like, know, and trust factor, right? So people can see that you're different from the rest of the crowd. And this is what Adrian does. He helps people and their businesses get featured so that they can stand above and really set their level of authority. For those who were on the call last week with Harry, they've seen his level of success, a bit of a insider behind the curtain type of info, but he hired Adrian, and Adrian was able to get him on some really, really cool, featured in a lot of, magazines. He traveled to the States and got on some BBC and a lot of talk shows, things like that. And it just basically set him up, right? And so this stuff is pretty remarkable what can happen. And so Adrian told me, he's like, basically, get ready for an influx of clients overnight once you take this stuff seriously, because that's dead set what happens to his clients and people who take this seriously. So I'm going to be taking a lot of notes and learning from Adrian as we go along. And hopefully you guys can take down some notes as well and follow along and have some things you can really implement in your business. So Adrian, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're
Can
very
you
welcome.
see my screen? Can everyone see my screen or not?
So not yet. So you stopped the screen share, but you can share it again. Okay. If you want to give people a little bit of an introduction about you or some fun facts. We already know that you love share. We already know that you if you want to give people a bit of an introduction about what you do, how you do it, who you are, whatever it is you want to share, that would be awesome.
I will. Let me just start sharing my screen again.
Go for it.
Do that, 'cause I've done a whole nice little presentation for you all. So share. Speaking of share, I'm going to share. Sorry, bit of a dad joke.
When do you start singing?
I have to save something for later, Tyson. You know.
Well, we can see
go from 0 to 100 in 1 minute. Yeah, geez. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So who am I? So pretty much I've been going for 17 years. I just actually, it'll be 18 years in February, but I just did my 17th birthday here in Sydney, and I made, of course, being a PR guru, I made homepage news and 3 Daily Mail stories of my party that I did last weekend in Sydney, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, I guess, who am I? I run a PR, this is what I look like, everyone who wants to know. I'm a PR and advertising agency that I've been going for 17 years. My background is I always wanted to work in advertising after watching Melrose Place. Now, Tyson, you're probably a little bit too young to remember Melrose Place, but there might be some people out there that do. So I did an economics and marketing degree at Sydney Uni, and after most people who've done a uni degree, you realise you come out of it and it's like, I know nothing. I know how to do a lot of statistics and maths, but I don't really know much about advertising. So as I was finishing off my third year, I started emailing all these ad agencies in New York. I thought, you know what, I want to learn from the best. If I want to work in advertising, I'm just going to go straight to the top. So this was back in 1997 when dial-up internet days were around. So at night I would go home from uni and just start emailing all these ad agencies, and I landed a job. And literally I packed my bags up a week after finishing uni. I had a 3-month work visa that I got. It's called a cultural exchange visa, J1 visa, that any full-time tertiary student could get. And I moved to New York without really knowing anyone. And it was amazing. I did so much fun stuff. I was working with Cindy Crawford. I was one of the, I guess, clients I was also working with was Rockstar Games, which is Grand Theft Auto. And I was doing so much cool stuff there. And, you know, this is me as a 20-year-old. And so I was there for a few years. And then I said to my boss at the time, look, I'm doing so much awesome stuff here. I know, let's open up a business in Australia. We can take these ideas and concepts and everything like that and come back to Australia and do this. He goes, I know nothing about Australia. You're on your own pretty much. So I packed my bags and I came back to Australia for years. And I called my company Believe, because literally initially no one believed in me. Like, you know, at the time I was getting like former employees saying, you know, do you want to move back to New York? We'll pay for your rent and flights and accommodations. Like, nah, I feel like I've done it now, you know? And it's like, I can do this. I know I can. I was like 24 at the time. And during the day, I would cold call people during the day from the Yellow Pages. And at night, I'd work in a call centre selling tickets for the Spastic Centre of New South Wales. It took me 6 weeks to land my first client. And from there, literally just kept going. And I started off doing a lot of advertising work. And then I realised publicity is one thing that people really needed help with, because ads were getting more and more expensive. A lot of people don't have the money to run an ad in a newspaper or magazine or on a billboard or anything like that. And through the power of publicity, you can really promote your brand and get hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of coverage for really nothing. And the thing is, like, yes, you can do it yourself, but a lot of people didn't have the media contacts or didn't know how to write a press release. So that's where I sort of was getting work from. During the past 17 years, I've worked with Novak Djokovic now 3 times, which is amazing. The last event I did with Novak was in January of this year. Here's a pic of me and Novak. And that's, I mean, he's the most awesome guy. He's very down to earth. I've worked with a lot of celebrities over my time, and I think Novak stands out because he is such an A-lister, but very humble. And literally, we did this massive event in Federation Square for Seiko. And he literally, as we're walking back to his car that was waiting, there was hundreds of people in Federation Square with all their paraphernalia, and he was taking the time to sign every person's, you know, tennis ball or tennis racket or whatever they brought along. So yeah, like, my hat goes off to him. He's like very patient and very humble. So yeah, I started off working with Novak 6 years ago. I was referred to Head Tennis Rackets, and they had an idea. They needed someone to launch Novak's new graphene tennis racket. I came up with the idea of having Novak hitting a tennis ball faster than a speeding race car. This was like early December. And so then I was speaking with the Austrians, heads based in Austria. And they said, we love it. Now you've literally got 3 weeks, because it was over Christmas, to pull it off. And it's like, holy hell, how am I going to do this? And I didn't. I got worldwide media coverage. And you can, if you go to my website, believeadvertising.com, you'll be able to see there a video of YouTube link of the whole like event, how it unfolded, like with Novak hitting tennis ball faster than speeding race car. Got literally worldwide media coverage. Then a year later, I got a call late November from Seiko Watches. They said, look, we've got a tennis player that is going to be one of our worldwide ambassadors. We can't tell you who it is, but we'd like you to do a worldwide event for it. And I said, look, I wouldn't be Novak, would it? And it's like, obviously they did their homework. So I pretty much became the Novak expert. And so then I did for Seiko, who I still work with today. I've been working with them for nearly 6 years now. And I did a whole press launch for Seiko at Crown Casino, announcing Novak as their international ambassador. And that was 5 years ago. And then we did another event, as I mentioned, this year. So 3 events with Novak is an all, and his team are very professional and really nice as well. I've also launched Furla, the Italian handbag brand, into Australia. Vodka O, it was a vodka that's free from chemicals. Like literally 3 guys from a garage said we want to have Australia's best vodka. And for the past 10 years, I just built up the brand through PR. James Packer, who some of you may know, Mariah Carey's ex-boyfriend, for those of you in the US, he brought into the business and literally just sold the company after I built it up for $45 million to Asahi Beverages. If you Google ASM Liquor and James Packer, you'll be able to read the story about that. And Vodka became the 2nd best-selling vodka in Australia, which is a pretty hard thing to do when you're up against brands like Smirnoff and Absolute. And yeah, so it just shows you the power of publicity of how it can help you. And it works for anything and anyone really, which is brilliant. So no matter what business you all have, we can, PR can help you. Worked with other high-end watch brands, Panerai watches. They make like $300,000 watches, beauty, lifestyle, and of course now millennials, which you mentioned, Tyson. I call them my $1 million millennials. Actually, I wrote a news story which The Age picked up, and it's like the headline was like "Goodbye Facebook, goodbye textbooks, hello Facebook." You know, meet the millennials that are saying goodbye to uni and. I guess, you know, throwing out the rule book and making millions from the power of e-commerce. So I've got a few clients who are like Harry, where they are literally a young, may have just scraped through high school, never really made it to uni or dropped out of uni, and are making millions of dollars a year. And I'm promoting their businesses nationally and internationally across the globe. So it can pretty much help anyone. And I'm ready to show you my tips and tricks on what you can do to make this happen. So what is PR? A lot of people think PR doesn't stand for permanent residency. So if you're after how to get a visa in Australia, you're probably on the wrong webinar right now. So you might want to stop watching here. Some people, when they Google PR agency, I'll get these frantic calls from like English backpackers saying, I'm on 457 visa. How can I stay in the country? I've got my fiance. That's, you know, it's like, listen, honey, like you got to like go to an immigration lawyer. So yeah, but it's all about I classify PR as free advertising. So whether it's from a blogger, an Instagrammer, online news story, actually this week alone, I'm going to have 2 clients on news.com that are going to be running news stories, which are amazing. I'll share those in your little group, Tyson, once they're published. So that's really cool. That's just like a day in the life. So yesterday and today, I've arranged 2 stories for 2 different clients to be featured on Australia's largest news site, news.com.au. So it's free advertising, essentially, from television, radio, and the brilliant thing about PR is it's way more credible because no one watches television for the ads anymore. Everyone has like Netflix, or everyone has, in Australia, we have cable TV, Foxtel, and you will record the program if you're watching The Bachelor or The Bachelorette and fast forward through the ads. It's way more credible as well. There's been studies that have shown, you can Google it, publicity is valued at between 5 to 10 times the value of advertising. When you think about reading a magazine or a newspaper or even online news sites, which we're all now doing more so than the traditional print form, no one is looking at the banner ads so much. You're just engaged with the content, which is why there's media agencies out there that are talking about native content. But Native is where it's like a paid ad that might look like a story, but I feel like consumers are very savvy, and you kind of know that it's a paid ad, so it kind of defeats the purpose anyhow. And that you know, most news sites charge $20,000 to $30,000 for one news story as native content, which is crazy. So I've actually smashed or crashed clients' websites through traffic, and I'll show you get to that. If you have to make sure you've got the back end of your website set up, because if one good news story can literally change your business overnight, and I'll show you lots of examples of that. It also helps you position you as an expert in your field. Maybe if we could just quickly ask people, Tyson, what everyone does, just so I can have a good little understanding. I don't know if you
sure,
want to
guys.
put that in the chat.
If you could put in the chat box, make sure that where it says to, it says all panelists. Even if it just needs to be all panelists for us to see it. But if you want to do all panelists and attendees as well, if you want to share with everyone else what it is you do, then that would be cool. Obviously, the part of this community in this group is helping each other collaborate, do joint ventures, connect each other. So if you can share with everyone what everyone does, then that's a beautiful thing.
And that's what we'll do. I remember Melrose Place. Thanks. Helping first-time web developers get their first job, photography and health coaching. Yep, that's cool. IT project management consultant coach. I've helped lots of business coaches. Marketing for a luxury smart home design install company. Nice. Music teacher and wanting to work with children to create adults living life on purpose. Nice. Yoga, environmental awareness experiences marketing. There's online, get new and recurring customers. Oh, cool. Graphic design, creative direction. So it's about coming up with an interesting angle. Cleaning industry. Awesome.
I think that's where people struggle the most, is they're thinking in their head, they're saying, okay, how does this apply to me? Can I actually use a news story from my life, from my business?
I know.
And that's what you're the expert in, is coming up with unique angles that people in the media can grab onto, and like, holy shit, we need this person.
Yes. Right? Yeah. You kind of have to just zoom out of business. And the hardest thing, as I mentioned, I've just self-published a book last month, and I find it really hard to do publicity myself, because you're so close to your business, and Australia has tall poppy syndrome, which America's a bit different, and that's why I love Americans, because, you'd walk into work one day and your boss would go, oh, I just brought a boat, and it would be like high five, and it's like, yay, in Australia, if that happened, it would be like, oh, you prick, I can't believe it. Here everyone has to be at the same level. No one's allowed to encourage really other people. No one's allowed to celebrate their success. America is very much about uniting together and helping one another to succeed, because, I guess, I think there's a saying, when the tide rises, everyone's sort of lifted up, so to speak. The other thing I can mention, Instagram. So a lot of people now wanting a blue tick on Instagram. So the amazing thing is that, and I've just done this for someone, she was a blogger in the US. She has 1.5 million followers, and she desperately wanted a blue tick. It just makes you look really more credible and authentic, and also it stops other people using your name. So Tyson Sharp on Instagram, you would want a blue tick, so then no one's going to really take your Instagram handle. But in order to do that, you need to be positioned in the media. So Instagram actually is part of the application, which that's something I can also help people with. You need to submit some news stories about yourself. And without that, then you're not going to get a blue tick. That's actually part of Instagram's requirement. So that one there, one as well. So first thing to think about is, like, we've got so many different industries, from cleaning to yoga to, there's a lot of coaching as well, IT. What is your goal? So I always like to work backwards. So the purpose of PR is to create a positive image for yourself and your brand. Determine like unique selling point. I think that's really important, because there are a million different business coaches out there, and there's a million like me, a million different publicists. But everyone has their own unique story. And I feel like using your story, no one else can ever take that away from you. Yeah, I think, you know, obviously my story, no one else has. The same with you, Tyson, and everyone else. So I would write down, like, in a little sentence, what your story is, what's your unique selling point, and then work from there. And then also work out your goal. Is it to just create awareness? Is it to create sales? Is it to create leads? How are you going to drive people to your website and your traffic and stuff like that? How are you going to manage that? So having an idea of what you want to achieve, it helps. It's like then having a roadmap, you know where you're going, and that's going to help you a lot. The next thing is know your audience. You have to do your research. There's no point. A lot of people, they'll call me up and they go, I want to be on Sunrise. And I go, okay, well, why are you going to, and Sunrise, for those who are international, it's kind of like the US equivalent of Today Show. It's Australia's largest morning TV show. It's like, well, why will Sunrise or Today Show actually put you on air? And it's like, well, I've done this. And I go, okay, you have to sort of zoom out and you think, do you think that a 4-minute TV segment, does this sound like an ad, or will this actually be of interest to someone? So even bounce your ideas off others as well, because you might think it's great, or you actually might think, I've had the instance where I've had to convince clients and it's like, you've got an amazing story, you have no idea. Like, of course this will get on TV. And you go, really? Do you think really someone would really want to know about this? It's like, yes. You know, so sometimes I have that with people as well. So you have to sort of know your audience. Think about the media type that you want to be in, and then work backwards to create your story. Yeah, so that's really important to know. And that leads into construct your angle. Like, successful campaigns need a creative hook. So for example, Harry, let's talk about Harry Sanders. He's awesome. So meet the high school graduate that, you know, 4 years ago was homeless, living under a bridge in Melbourne, and now runs Australia's largest SEO agency, and he's 21. It's like, what? And makes over 1.3 million in revenue a year. So that is Harry's hook that I came up with. You know, after speaking with Harry, and it was a few conversations, and I kept on saying, Harry, is there anything else you'd like to share? And he said, well, actually, for a period of time, I was homeless. It's like, that's crazy, you know, and it's very inspiring. And it's like, I think that's definitely newsworthy. So that's sort of what I ran with. And from that, you know, I managed to get him worldwide media coverage. And then he had so much interest from the UK, people saying, how can I do SEO? How can you do SEO for me? Like, he's opened up an office subsequently then. And then I fueled the fire even more by then writing a news story saying, meet the homeless guy who 4 years ago was 17 and living under a bridge in Melbourne, and now is opening office in London. So I managed to get him on BBC, which has a global audience of 260 million people. So you can see how working backwards and having a unique angle is really important.
And for those on the call who don't know Harry, he was on this mastermind call last week. So the interview with him is on the YouTube channel if you want to have a look. He's awesome. He's done some crazy things. But it's good to have the two blend of these guys who have worked together and seen what they've done. Yeah,
it does work well, actually. Yeah, because you can go back and watch Harry's story, and Harry, he's amazing, inspiring. Tell you about him, and then I can sort of show you from my end how I sort of made it happen as well. You know, just to jump into it completely random as a property, is like he does these amazing 3D rendering drawings of cities. So he had footage of what Sydney was going to look like in the year 2100. And not only that, he actually went back, and it was a tedious process. He went to the State Archives and created a whole video footage montage of Sydney from the 1800s right through to today, and then through to the year 2100. And it was like a revolving movie. And then I had like footage that I gave to Channel 7 as a news exclusive. I said, this is what Sydney's going to look like in the year 2100. Channel 7 ran it on a few weeks ago on Sunday night. And the company's called Terra Interactive. As a result, they literally had inquiries from Brazil and Jakarta for major developers that's saying your work is awesome with your 3D renderings. It's very matrix-like but realistic. We want you to do this. And he's been so busy ever since. Like literally after 4 days, I got him on Sydney Channel 7 News. That he hasn't had time to even speak to me since. It's crazy. So just shows you, like, you know, PR does really work for anyone. This is another person, Matt Lepre. So this is like my $1 million millennials, I like to call them. So Howard University dropout, 26, went from juggling 3 jobs to now earning $122,000 a month. So I wrote that as a story, gave that to Daily Mail, got that homepage, a homepage story, and that literally just went off, that story. I then did a follow-up story 3 days later because he's a good-looking guy, and it was the week of Valentine's Day. And I said, "Is this Australia's most eligible bachelor?" So, you know, go to a retail store, borrow a suit or buy a suit, keep the labels on, then return it. So he did that. It's got like the tags at the back, and then get a $5 rose, get a picture in a bar. And then we fed that to the media saying, you know, don't want a girl who's dating me for my bank balance. Meet the 26-year-old businessman who can't find this love this Valentine's Day despite making $120,000 a month. And that literally got shared 29,000 times on Daily Mail. It went worldwide. It was crazy. And you can see just with an interesting angle. And what Matt does, and he's awesome, his business is called ecomwarrior.com. He realized that he travels the world, he lives like amazing life, you know, making so much money, selling products on Facebook, you know, teeth whitening products and education products, things like that. He goes, well, I'm going to set up a automated webinar where people can pay for it. And I'll teach them step by step how to do the same. And literally every day he has people signing up. It's all automated to his webinar, making money, thousands of dollars every day. If you go to my website, believeadvertising.com, there's a video testimonial from Matt, and there's a screenshot of just media coverage I got. So then Daily Mail here in Australia has like a following of about 4 million people. So they put that on their homepage. It made it into the UK in the Mirror homepage there, which is crazy. So there's pics of Matt. Web Guru, please, for love, as he faces Valentine's Day alone. You can see you want to tie in something topical as well. Every day and every month, there's always something. So, you know, you just have to look to see if it's Valentine's Day, Christmas, is it New Year's, is it, you know, January is all about New Year, New You type stories, losing weight, you know, New Year's resolutions. So tying in something that's going on makes it very easy to get press. I even got him, so, you know, on a Skype call in Fox News, Arizona, which is crazy. So the next phase was, Matt, you're literally doing so well. He needed an assistant. So then I said, let's just put a call out there for the world's coolest job. So literally, how this guy wants a person to travel the world with him, and help him out, get paid $55,000 a year Australian, and to be his assistant. So then I said, is this, you know, wrote a press release, is this the world's coolest job? It went viral. I got international publicity for it. Fox 10 in Arizona interviewed him. I got him on CNN sister channel, HLN channel, which is Headline News Channel, which is part of Time Warner Cable over there in the US. And that broadcasted actually in the US and across the globe. And there's him on Skype. Yeah, talking to the, you know, audience, global audience of millions. Even TMZ, anyone know? Yeah, TMZ is massive. They've got a sister channel called 2Fab. So he actually flew to LA because I then ended up lining up so many meetings and press interviews for him that he flew to LA. So he did that face-to-face in LA studios. Then let's talk about our famous Harry. So we've mentioned, as I mentioned, you know, headline, I lived under a bridge and ate leftovers from Baker's Delight. Man reveals Harry went from homeless school dropout at 17 to millionaire by the time he was 21. That did equally just as awesome. I got him on Sunrise. So then I, give the release to Sunrise, which is Australia's largest breakfast television channel here. I then, as I mentioned, got him on BBC in the UK. He flew to London for this interview. It's a global audience of 260 million. So that's crazy. He did a radio interview before that on BBC World Service. Literally that gets broadcasted internationally. So that's what kicked him off to start getting all these calls and inquiries from around the globe. He did that radio interview from Melbourne, just saying, hey, you sound awesome. People love a good story, and by sharing your story, everyone's going to resonate with you rather than, hi, I've got an SEO company. That's boring. But it's like, hey, I'm Harry, I'm 21, 4 years ago, I'm homeless. I'm really love what I do. And, from the age of 14, I started doing SEO and making my dad list on page 1, position 1 on Google. That's going to be noted. In the mirror again, school dropout, living under a bridge, turns life around to become a millionaire at 21. So hopefully now you can start thinking about some ideas of what you'd be using for your headline and how you could position yourself. And you don't necessarily need to get international media coverage. Some people, they don't have that capacity. And some people, especially if it's like I saw there an accountant or someone was doing financial planning, you're not be able to service people in the US or UK, and that's fine. Start with your own local paper, essentially, and go from there. So you don't, obviously, I'm just showing you this to show on a big scale what you can achieve, but don't be daunted or don't think, oh, well, my story is not going to make the BBC. That's not going to happen for everyone because it depends on your business and it depends on your angle as well. Smart company here in Australia. So you can sort of see the same story that's sort of been churned out to all these different news sites, which is amazing. Then I love working with diet products. They're awesome. So anyone who has well-being or weight loss products, media love that. And it's I always come up with funny headlines that they reproduce, like obese mother who was too big to watch TV because of a tire of fat around her neck. This is 5 stone by ditching her junk food addiction. So that ran in the UK. This was Daily Mail in the UK, not Australia. They have I'm not sure if you can see, 16 million people on Facebook, which they always share. That ran in the UK as well. So this client's actually based in the UK, Terry Ann. So we focused on UK media just for her. I literally work with clients internationally. So no matter where you are, I can get you publicity, which is awesome. Yeah, this is her in Daily Star. That's a video of Terry Ann. This is all, don't forget, this is all free editorial. So none of this is ads. It's all free editorial, which is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for you to pay to get a video of you explaining your product on Daily Star. I don't actually think you could even buy that opportunity. It's priceless. The Sun, this is for an Australian diet client, Slim by Nature. Junk food addict who lost 5 stone without exercising, says she looks 10 years younger. And you can see before and after pics also work really well. So yeah, media love that too. And then that's what she looked like before. This is for the Mirror store in the UK. This is the one that broke the internet for 123 Diet. And I'll tell you, this is actually a real case study. I couldn't paint my toenails. I couldn't walk upstairs. Sydney grandmother of 5. Reveals, and she's 50. She lost 31.5 kilos, which is about over 62 pounds in 3 months without doing any exercise. And I mean, to be honest, I thought this surely is Photoshop. This is botched, right? But no, I spoke to a lady. I've met with her. We did a video for 123 Diet, just explaining her story. You can see there she's wearing the same watch. So it's all legit. She has pictures along the way of a weight loss journey. It's amazing. Yeah. We got her in Prevention magazine, even little stories about food swap stories for 123 Diet. In fact, last year, Emma's 123 Diet, Google runs news stories every year towards the end of the year before Christmas, what Australians are Googling or what the world's Googling. So in Australia, they do different categories, and this is top search diets 2018 by Australians. 123 came out number 2. They did no advertising. It's just through my PR, above keto, FODMAP, what is keto diet, stuff like that. So you can see the power of publicity. This ran in the Herald Sun of 123. Like literally every time I did a news story for them, like with before and after pics, their website crashed and they sold our product. They started out as a husband and wife couple working from the Gold Coast. Now they've moved to Florida and they've scaled the business internationally. It's crazy. And if you can go to my website, believeadvertising.com, look in testimonials, you'll see a written testimonial from Emma there as well. This is another story, 123, how women of 54 would eat a liter of ice cream in one sitting. And now she gets into a wedding dress. I just thought, I know I speak really fast, so I thought maybe, do you want to reach out, see if anyone had any questions up until now?
We've got a couple. Paul's asking, how'd you come up with these titles, right? Because a lot of people are on here and they're like, man, all these stories are crazy, and the crazy amount of publicity that they can get for free just by coming up with a creative angle, whether that be for your business or testimonials, or whether it be for a story of your unique self. Everywhere. And so I think a lot of people here are just wondering, how did you come with that angle? How do you come up with the titles? How do you go through that process? They've seen all of these and they're like, holy shit, this is crazy. They're like, what can I do? What can I do for myself? How do I do this? And, how do I do this?
Obviously, I've been doing this for 22 years, so I can come up with a headline in a matter of minutes. But one thing is, I would say is study your chosen media outlet. So if you really want to be on the Daily Mail, which is an awesome news platform, you need to be familiar with their news stories. You need to know how they write their news stories. So when you pitch it to them, you pretty much want to give them the story in a silver platter with all the pictures. It's written out the same way so they can literally copy and paste your words. So that's once you have a good understanding of, say, for example, a lot of people, as I said, will say, I want to be on Sunrise, but a lot of people may not even watch Sunrise, or The Project's another big one. So Project tend to feature a lot of younger people because their audience is younger and people doing things. So if you're like a 60-year-old, say, plumber in Melbourne, you're probably not going to be on The Project unless, you know what I mean? So you really need to know your media outlet well, and then you sort of, I guess, replicate what they're doing and their angles, and you'll see a trend after a period of time.
So basically you can look at the previous articles they've run, stories they've had, titles they've featured, and you can sort of see the type of patterns that they do have.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So Karai has a question as well.
I saw, is that Paul's question?
So we got Paul, we got Karai has a question.
So to answer Paul's question, literally I have worked with everyone and anyone. So I've doubled the share price of 2 ASX listed companies in 1 month. If only I could buy their shares. Obviously, due to insider trading, I signed 1 million documents because I know as soon as I start working and getting news stories out for ASX listed companies, which is Australian Stock Exchange, for those of you overseas, that their stock's going to increase. Both times, in fact, it's doubled within a month, which is crazy. So obviously I've done all spectrums, and I love working with everyone, as I said, from millennials. So Paul, if you want to reach out to me afterwards, you can email me, I can chat to Karai as well. I'll type in my email address here, or go to my website, believeadvertising.com. There's a host of information on there talking about 8 effective tips to get your story out in their press. Plus, you can reach out to me via believeadvertising.com. That would be good.
So one thing also that we can do is obviously for people who are jumping on here, it's immensely beneficial to have you in their network. So I'd love if you, even in the chat, would you be able to put a link to your Facebook
Yeah, of
your
course.
Facebook profile so
Yeah.
people can add you.
Yeah.
One thing we do here is that everyone here is looking to connect because they're part of the group, so they love to connect and they love to send people your way who would be ideal clients or would be key sources of collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
so
I'm
that would
always
be-
about that. So yeah, you can connect away with me for Facebook. I think I'll post in the group again. You can add me as a friend.
Yeah.
There's
Awesome.
Believe Advertising, which is a business page, but you can see my holiday snaps on my personal page and pics of my kids and stuff like that. If that interests you. Yeah, so no pets though, unfortunately. Sorry to disappoint. So any tips for more business, financial investor type PR? You mentioned the stock price increasing. Oh, there's so many, like especially, I mean, for financial investor type PR, one thing is the end of financial year. 5 ways you can slash your tax bill in 5 minutes. Like that's a good story that always media love. I don't have a calendar, but you can just email me and we'll work out a time. Yeah, so have a local radio is definitely an option. Just having a look here for Hannah. Yeah, why not? Of course, as I mentioned, you don't need to do international BBC. Yeah, so let me continue because I'm mindful that we've got like 13 probably minutes left. So yeah, unless there's anything else in the meantime, but we can also make more time for questions in a bit. So yeah, you can see the power of publicity. News.com, Australia's largest news site, ran the story as well. It's crazy. And you can see how, like a picture tells 1,000 words as well. You know, here this one, they sort of tweaked their headline. This is in the UK, childcare worker 45 who drank 1.25 litres of Coke, whoops, every day. That's Coca-Cola, not the drug. Binged on McDonald's reveals how she dropped 5 sizes without intense exercise. You can see the formula. So even Slim by Nature, those in Australia know, this lady is their mindset coach, Katrina. She's lost a fortunate amount of weight. So then 9 News went to Katrina's place of work and did an interview there on primetime news. Like, it's crazy just because you've lost weight, which is awesome. You can see it's amazing. So I guess it all starts with, like, you need a press release. So a press, which I've been mentioning, a press release is what you need to give to the story, and you need to write it in a way to actually grab the media's attention. And you kind of want to write in a way where they can ideally copy and paste your words. The media are under the pump 24/7, especially nowadays with online media. They have to generate news content consistently. That's going to be, I guess, like stand out, clickbait, and you need to grab their attention and you need to write it in their genre. Meaning, if you're pitching to the Daily Mail, you're going to be writing that in a different way as if you're pitching to news.com or Financial Review, which is like Wall Street Journal. So to start off, you need to have a strong creative angle as your headline to draw attention. So I think I've sort of demonstrated that up until now. Include relevant quotes from previous customers, information about your service. Keep your press release on brand. I kind of think of it as a pyramid when you're writing a press release. So the first bit up the top is the who, what, where, when, and why. Media generally will not read past the first paragraph. You need the headline to hook them in. Then who, what, where, when, and why in the front, up front, first paragraph. Don't bury the information. Then second paragraph, you can go into a little bit more information. Third paragraph might be a quote. So Tyson says this, you know, to back up what you're saying. So that'd be fourth paragraph, you might have some further facts. Fifth paragraph, you start summarizing it up. Sixth paragraph would be call to action. So, you know, if more information on so-and-so diet or more information on this business coach or visit, your website. So that's pretty much in a nutshell the framework of a press release. And when you write it, you need to just be mindful of your audience. Start the conversation once you've established your goals. Determine like the best way, your press release, as I mentioned, is it going to then be TV? radio. Now, you will probably never be able to pitch on the phone anymore. Like generally a lot of my work, the phone never rings as most industries. It's all via email. So that's even more reason why you need to have a creative headline, which you use as a subject line, and everything like that. So then once you've got a great press release, start getting it out there and tailoring it to your audience, whether it's radio, TV, or print. Then this is a quote from Matt Lepre. He was making so much money. He goes, Adrian, I want to go to Dubai. Do you think you could get me any coverage? And go, yeah. So I reached out to Golf News, and he literally got their headline news story on the front page, and then inside was like the second page was a half-page news story. They did a photo shoot. This is actually him in Dubai. Meet the 26-year-old Australian who transformed his life through e-commerce. That was crazy, and you can read his quote there. As I mentioned, go to believeadvertising.com and you can see his video testimonial. Press releases will increase your interest. You must have the information, though, like obviously in the right way, presenting it, and also remember to create an angle that they're interested in, so they'll be inclined to run your story. That's really important. Building solid relationships. So once you actually get a news story, you need to then, and it will happen, takes time, thank the journalists, stay in touch with them, thank them, because it's about networking, as you know. So then if they're looking for a yoga expert I saw, or an IT or a financial planner person, if you're responsive, the worst thing you could ever do is put your phone number on the press release as a contact number and never answer your phone, or don't have voicemail, because literally when you send out your press release to news outlet, they may call you within like the first hour. And if you're not listening to your voicemail or responsive, they need stuff straight away. There's no way they're going to wait a few days or a day or even half a day for you to get back to them, because they'll just move on to the next story, because there's so many people doing that. But if you've sparked any interest, you need to make sure that you're onto it and you respond immediately, because then the last thing they want is someone that's just going to drag the story on for a long period of time. So it's really important that you're very responsive, and then afterwards you thank them, and then they'll keep you in mind for future stories as well. So when they are looking for that financial planner, or if interest rates have just gone down, then you can talk about how that's going to help, how that's going to damage valuation. So for the financial planner person, there's so many different, maybe this is me being an economist by education, there's so many different angles you can do. So you think, okay, interest rates in Australia and the world all-time low, how's this going to hurt retirement? Or how's this going to affect the housing prices? If you're a real estate expert or stuff like that. Social media influencers is another area that is expanding. In some ways, obviously Australia and Canada have removed likes now on Facebook and Instagram. In the US, it still exists. So you can send, and we've got a massive black book of social media influencers. So, you can send product to them. I wouldn't suggest Kylie Jenner because she commands about $500,000 for one post. But there's a whole breed of influencers out there called micro influencers, 10,000 followers or less. And they'd be more than happy to post about your product or service in exchange for an Instagram post and story. So that's another way you can build out your information. Then there's news appearances. This is Matt when he flew to LA, got him on KTLA. It's the largest news channel in Southern California, in Los Angeles. Harry Sunrise, as you've seen. So obviously there's like amazing news appearances is the same as reaching out to your local radio station. The process is the same, just reaching out to the producers from your local TV station or national morning show and giving them a press release. But it's awesome because then you can be on TV and share your story. Then obviously once you've gotten your media coverage, it's important because someone may not be actually watching that news show at that particular time, but then you can actually put that link into your LinkedIn, you put it on Facebook, you can even run like Facebook ads with it. I know Matt's sort of done like a whole little montage and doing that and boosting that as, as seen in, Forbes and all these different sort of media outlets that I've got in him. And it's instant social proof that gives you amazing credibility. You can run an ad in any of these publications if they have the money, but by saying as seen in ... then that gives you instant credibility as well. Celebrate your success. As I mentioned, you might want to do a launch or something like that. I just did a 17th birthday for myself, celebrating 17 years in business, and invited literally everyone I work with from the media. It's a way of giving back, and all my social media influencers contacts, and I've got like homepage of Yahoo and 3 Daily Mail stories, which is awesome. So yeah, doing a party or a launch event could be another way. As I mentioned, I've also just written a book. It became an Amazon best-selling title, which is amazing in the US. It's called Believe, Start Living the Life You've Always Dreamed of Today. If you go to amazon.com, or if you're in the Australia, amazon.com.au, or UK, things.co.uk, type in my name and you can buy it on Kindle. I really don't make money from this. Like in the US, it's like 99 cents for the Kindle version and $9.99 paperback. I think that includes possible shipping if you're an Amazon Prime member. But yeah, I just really want to help and inspire others all my life. People have told me that I couldn't do it. I wasn't able to move to New York. They said, you're 20, you're not going to know anyone. How are you going to get a job? How are you going to get a visa? I've proven them wrong. I worked my guts out. I got sponsored over there. They got an immigration lawyer and got to stay, which is amazing. Then when I came back to Australia to live, to start my own business, this once again faced with that. As I mentioned, those who are on the call, but while we're waiting for on, I turned 42 years ago. I'm now 42. I noticed my metabolism was slowing down. I wanted to be fit in 40. I wanted abs at 40. Everyone goes, can't be done. It's genetic, blah, blah, blah. I did research and proved everyone wrong. So I've lost 15 kilos and now I have abs. Yeah, so it's like sort of my life philosophy. So you can read more about me and let me know what you think of the book. It's like I've gotten worldwide media coverage for it, which is crazy. I've been on Canadian breakfast TV. I was on the homepage of Channel 9, 9 Honey's site here in Australia. Even Daily Express in the UK, there was stories about the royal family and Brexit, and there's me. It's pretty funny. Here we are. Yeah, so this is me talking about my that's what I used to look like. There's me now. It's me, my wife. Man loses 2 stone and gets abs for his 40th birthday by cutting out this food. What is it? So you can sort of see everything what I've told you now about interesting headlines and books. Headlines. That's how it works. This is me on the 9 Honey homepage. This was actually, and so this was the weekend of Father's Day. So I thought I'd take a Father's Day angle. And you can see whatever's going on in the world, you should leverage off that. So dad sheds 15 kilos and turns life around. That was me 10 years ago in my honeymoon. And that's me now. I was talking about before about turning back the clock, like shit. That's the story. I even got covered. New Zealand, India has written about me as well. They're one of their major newspapers over there. It's crazy. So PR can help you seal the deal. It's way less expensive than paid advertising. You can literally do it yourself, or with the help of someone like me. I'm always happy to let you know how I can help you out. And so contact me, and I'm sure we can work something out. And we'll help with the PR company. We have the contacts. It's going to save you way more time. So essentially, you could be focusing on doing whatever else you need to, because when you think about how much your time is and, trying to write a press release or do the media contacts and reach out to people yourself, it's going to be quite time consuming, but definitely is achievable. Here is my details. I've also got, if you go onto my website, believeadvertising.com, I've got a number in New York and London as well that comes through to me here in Australia. If you'd like to call, I work till about midnight most nights, and I'm up at about from 6 a.m. Australian time. So I'm pretty much always available.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's awesome. So you got the information here, guys. I've got a couple more questions if you have a couple
Yeah,
minutes.
let me have a look at the questions. That'd be great.
First of all, I just posted in the group, guys. So after every call, Adrian, I post in the group, getting everyone to share their biggest takeaway. There's a few reasons for that. It's good feedback for us off all the attendees here.
Yeah.
So they can let us know what the biggest takeaway was. And also, once people have posted, you can see who was on this call. So you can feel free to reach out to them, add each other to your networks. Obviously, it's immensely beneficial to have Adrian in your network, not only so that you can add him by sending him people his way, that's a good client or key source of collaboration, and have that as a good connection, but also, you know, ask him what would be some feedback on an angle, for example. If you say, hey, I'm looking at doing this, what would be your advice for this type of angle? And he'll be like, oh yeah, well, what media are you going for? And he'll be able to ask your questions. Because I got on the phone with Adrian a couple of weeks ago to talk about this, and a lot of people here are asking about your type of services and things like that. And he works with basically everyone from all levels, and it clearly comes across in his passion that he loves helping even the small guys just to get massive coverage and to help them boost their credibility and authority. And so it doesn't matter where you're at, he will always try and fit in something that can help you, which is super powerful. So if you can add him to your Facebook network, add him to your business network, and allow that relationship to build, it'll be immensely beneficial. But we have some questions here. I think a lot of people are just looking for some advice, some tips and tricks. You've got some steps here. In terms of if someone's looking to just start, what you've said is to set your goal, to know your audience, and you know, construct your angle with some really was the three main pieces. But then also you got some really cool tips and tricks on how you can construct that, and some tips on where you can find that information and doing your research. But anything else, if someone's just going to get started, what should they do right now? Is what they do right now a piece of finding out what your goal is and everything like that, or do you have some more?
Yeah, I think right now, like someone right here is, let's just go back. The person inundated with the question, what is the one thing you can do where they simply can't ignore it? I think the one thing is to come up with a killer headline. So if you put that as a subject line and you say, thanks everyone for reaching out to me on Facebook, I'll accept you in a sec. If you, that's what's going to grab, that's going to start the conversation going. So, you know, is it the uni dropout that makes $120,000 a month? Is it the guy that was homeless 4 years ago at 17 and now has a multi-million-dollar business? Is it the lady that, even I've done one through the cookie diet, it's a US company as well in Australia. Meet the mum of two who's lost 30 kilos, which is 60 pounds by eating cookies. You know what I mean? Like you think, what the? You know what I mean? If it's going to make you stop and think, what the? Then you know you've got a good headline. I think that's a good little test.
And I think we've got some questions here about like whether the angles, I know it might have been Lewis who said, with the angle, does it, can you create it about you, or is it mostly about your clients and your clients' results? But I think what you're saying is it really depends on what type of angle you're going to create, is what type of goal you have, what type of media you're pitching to, all those sort of things. But you can literally be very, very creative and resourceful with which angle you can come up with, right? Because a lot of people
without a doubt. So as you said, like if I wrote a straight press release about the cookie diet, now you can eat, yeah, maybe that's a little bit interesting, it's a bit different. And taking that approach, maybe if you're a business coach, for example, you know, meet the guy that's made $1 million and turned his life around after being bankrupt 5 times and made $1 million in 5 years. You know what I mean? You'd be like, what? Like, and then you seed in, well, how did he do that? He seeked the guidance from Mr. Jane, you know, Smith or whatever, because then you're seeded in and it doesn't seem like an ad. So if that makes sense. So those real life type stories also work really well. So if you are a business coach, that would work well for you because you're not just tooting your own horn, you're actually using someone as a case study. Because it's easy to, everyone can go out there and say how amazing they are, like any diet company, but you know, I guess case studies speak volumes because you're actually showing firsthand how you've helped someone. Yeah, I mean, I could show you here and talk about all these amazing things, but if I hadn't had any case studies to show you up until now, you'd be thinking, well, you know, how credible is this guy, so to speak?
Trust me, you have enough. You have enough case studies there.
I've got more. As you can tell, I think I could talk underwater.
Yeah. We've seen plenty. We've seen plenty. So that's awesome.
So I hope that, you know, so that's with someone wrote about, do you put yourself, when you write an article, where the focus is you or the entrepreneur or client. So maybe you want to, if you have an interesting case study, put them first. Yeah.
Nice. And that's what this is all about. So everyone's keen to reach out, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, I'd like to meet you all. So thank you. Thanks
so you don't have a booking link, but what I did, I just reached out to Adrian on Facebook and said, hey, do you want to organize a chat? I've seen him at other business events here and there as well, which is really cool. And he's always keen to have a chat and see how to help you guys. But just quickly, Adrian, who is it this community can send your way that would be, we already know who would be, you know, an ideal client, but is there anyone you like to do collaborations with, or anyone we can send your way that would be an awesome connection?
Anyone that wants to get media coverage, that wants to increase their sales, that wants national or international coverage, that has a business that needs a bit of a boost, and has an interesting story about themselves, because as we all know, media likes stories. So that would be awesome. I'd be very grateful for anyone that you refer me to. And I'm also very honest. Like, if for some reason I felt like after I spoke to someone that they wouldn't, I feel, be newsworthy enough, which is very rare, but sometimes it does happen. It's more like with the product or something like that rather than the person, because I always can try and find an angle with the person. But I will tell you, and like, you know, so there's kind of like no risk in some ways.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's one thing that when I was talking to Adrian, he said, look, if someone reaches out to me, I don't think they have the angle, then I really won't take them on as a client. I only need, once I know they have that angle, that headline, that you know, story that's going to really kick off, that's when he takes them on and starts using his contacts and his networks to make that happen. So that's a really, really cool piece. And it comes across in your passion and your work, how much you really love helping people through this. And it's amazing how many people don't take advantage of this. I'm personally one of those. I do a lot of things on Facebook and social media, but I'm going to be more conscious and taking effort into doing more PR work.
Yeah, I think
this has been awesome.
The risk is, and I've even noticed, I've heard a lot of things like building a business based on social media alone. Like Facebook used to be great. There's a lot of now things out of your control, like algorithm changes. And I've even noticed with my own, like on Facebook, Instagram, stories used to penetrate a lot more rather than a static post. But even now I'm finding that people who see my stories a lot less. So I don't know if they even changed the algorithm there, because obviously, ultimately, Facebook and Instagram, they're going to want money. And it's all about boosting that. And by them always changing the goalposts, it's quite scary, because you're going to become too reliant on these companies. And the perfect example was a lot of my weight loss companies, they used to be able to run before and after pics on Facebook, and then they stopped that, so they couldn't do any Facebook advertising because they said that it gave people an unrealistic body image, which I can understand, you know, like you have to look like this, or if you look like the before photo, that's going to help hurt people's self-esteem. So that's why they rely on media or publicity even more, because we can feed that story out there to the press and it's not censored. And then not only that, the media often post that news story on their Facebook page, which have millions of followers anyway. So it's like, yeah, going around it that way. So
interesting.
Yeah, cool. So that's where publicity is great, because you actually have a bit more control of your business, because you're not relying on running ads on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, and I've seen it for myself, the campaigns you do for Facebook advertising, the more successful your ad is on Facebook advertising, they will actually charge you more and more as your campaign progresses. I think, well, more people click on your links, So therefore, you're making probably more money. So we're going to charge you more. I mean, imagine having a business like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's where Facebook and Instagram are sort of like falling apart a bit for business owners, and you can't be so reliant on that anymore. And you do need to have, I think, publicity definitely as part of your marketing mix.
Totally. Well, we appreciate your time. We appreciate your expertise. I've got to jump off now and get to some client calls.
No worries. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
No problem. If everyone could jump on in the Facebook group and share your insights on the post. I've already got 4 comments on there. This is the post. That would be awesome. So not only you post there, but Adrian will be able to see who's commented, who joined on this call, the insights they got. So it gives him good feedback, and he can reach out to you, you can reach out to him, and use your networking skills and your resourcefulness in terms of who you can send his way. Build that relationship, and he's going to be an immense benefit to your network. So, man, Adrian, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks again, everyone, and hope to hear from you all soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for jumping on, guys. This will be on YouTube for the recording, and I'll see you in the group. I'll keep you posted about future mastermind events. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much, Adrian. You're a champion.
Bye. No worries. Bye.